to have you join us on Insight Today. And on Insight Today, we'll have a full blast discussion segment and the media review segment. On set with me today, I have Cecil Egbele. It's good to have you after a long while.
Thank you very much, Amini. Nice to be on set with you.
What are we expecting on the media review segment?
Oh, on the media review segment, we'll still be talking about the trending issue, which is the amendment of the 1999 Constitution. We would like to get to know more about it from the media point of view, and I have a very professional media colleague who will be here with me to talk about it.
Okay, and on discussion segment on Inside, we shall be looking at tied to the amendment to the 1999 Constitution, the place of the youths. The acting president has said the youth should get massively involved. Are they involved? If they're not involved, whose fault? That will be the focus on discussion segment on Inside. What's your comment? Youth's involvement.
Yes, the youth should be very much involved, and I'm glad to know that the National Assembly passed the Not Too Young to Rule bill. I know many youths in my territory who have indicated interest to run for various positions, and I guess it's time for us to brace up. But I hope and pray it's not going to be like that that of the women. Once upon a time, the women were told that, oh, they will have all the support and encouragement. But today, how far so far?
Okay. It promises to be very insightful today on Insight. Up next on the program is the discussion segment. Stay with us. The recent amendments to the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the National Assembly has generated reactions for and against, from the issues of restructuring, devolution of powers, local government autonomy, age limits to qualify to contest election into certain offices in the Federation, etc. In all, there are 33 issues that form the crux of the amendments germane to the well-being of the diverse ethnic nationalities that make up the Nigerian states. The yearnings generally is for a new constitution which will address the growing wave of agitations against some sections of the constitution viewed as undemocratic as it stands until it is thoroughly amended. Our focus today on this segment of the program is the place of tomorrow for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the youths who are the future leaders of tomorrow. Like we say, tomorrow is open-ended, it never ends. Today activates tomorrow. Tomorrow activates another tomorrow. The growing concern by this group of Nigerians is the fact that they are yet to be given a strategic, active role in the governance process. They say so. As a result, various groups and individuals within the bracket are saying we or they should be given a level playing field. On the flip side, the elders, politicians, elite class, name it, say the youths have not played out an active role enough to challenge them or live up to the bidding. Is this true? Is it a statement of fact? Are the youths the architects of their situation? Or some will say, are the youths the architects of their misfortune? That will be the focus on this segment of Insight today, and I have to sustain this conversation a constitutional lawyer, policy analyst, and member of the All Progressives Youth Forum, Johannes Toby Wojola. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
My pleasure.
Also to sustain this conversation is the National Coordinator, Vendors for Positive Change Initiative, Member Contact and Mobilization, All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign, Council 2015, is a stakeholder in the public health value chain of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with interest in the National Health Insurance Scheme. Hamza Ibrahim Baba. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
My pleasure.
Beautiful. Let me copiously quote a document I read somewhere. The youths have been reduced to a demographic majority to a political minority. Translates meaning, when youths control the majority of votes cast during elections, they end up controlling nothing after politicians have won the elections. Do you agree?
Largely, I agree that the youths are sort of sidelined in the whole entire governance structure and even the institutional structures. But that in itself is incomplete if we do not appreciate the entire role of the youths from a much more holistic point of view, and also the Nigerian milieu in itself, and how the Nigerian milieu has sort of sets a lead over the young Nigerians. And these are the core issues, really, because when you're running for political office, when you're going to be given a ministerial position, it is often expected, and it's basic, that you have some level of qualifications, some level of experience, either in business or in private or in a public sector or in some form of experience. But the system, our training system, has made it in such a way that at the point where a young person becomes qualified for such an appointment, such as a ministerial position, such as a government political position, maybe in an advisory capacity, our system has made it that such a person would have possibly be getting to maybe 35 before he gets to that position. Let's look at it historically or from a much more detailed perspective. The average age of a person coming out of the university is 21, 22. Or 23 thereabouts. He or she gets to eventually go for the youth service, the mandatory youth service program, which is a year program. You get to 24. At 24, you're looking for a job. You're still living on stipends from your family. At 26, 27, 28, you're lucky to have maybe gotten a job. And that would have equally been a struggle, because all the jobs that are available are asking you to bring 5 years experience to the table, bring 10 years experience to the table. Those are the good jobs. And you don't have that. So you have to take the minor school jobs, manage them and grow in, and then before you become the 10-year qualified person for a big position, you're 35. The system is already working against the development of the ultimate potentials of the youths. And if that must be changed, there needs to be an entire overhaul of the laws, the regulations that compel young people to be stifled through the whole training system. In other climes, before you can be, you must not necessarily go through the whole 63334 or what have you educational system before you become qualified to contribute to society. You have the basic communication skills, basic reading and writing and arithmetic skills. You have and at maybe in primary 6, you go into business, you go into whatever passion you have, and you're ready to serve your community by 25. But with the current system that we have, where that 25-year-old is just coming out of his youth service, then there is a fundamental problem on the foundation.
Okay. Just a few days ago, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says that the youths must be involved and actively participate, and that youth should not allow themselves to be used to purvey hate speeches. So how can they get involved?
Thank you very much. It's a good question. Already the youths are involved in the economy, in the banking sector. The youths are doing very well in the entertainment industry and sports. I graduated when I was 22 years. And I partially disagree with Johanna. I believe you can lead at 25 years, because we have graduates at 21 years now, 20 years, and I don't know what stops them from starting the process of involvement in political development early enough. And that's what the amendment is talking about. If we can have 21-year-old graduates, 22-year-old graduates, then by 25 years, they should get prepared to start involving themselves in politics. Sometime in 2006, I attempted to contest State House of Assembly member in my constituency.
Which state is this?
That was Kano State. That's Kano State.
Okay.
Doikinto for local government. I was told then, I know I was around 28, 29 years, I was told that my age did not reach that limit. So I had to forego the aspiration.
But that's one of the points he's raising.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's timely that we have the amendment now. It's quite timely and it's a step forward. You have just asked me how we can get involved.
Okay.
Of course, with the amendment, that's the first stage. And we have to form a think tank, you know, where all the issues of initiatives, programs, development can be discussed. Part of the problem we're having as youths is because we are not really detailed. We are not sufficiently informed about the development, about what is happening in the politics, and, you know, we are merely voting objects. We are merely used as voting objects. So I believe if we set up think tank, we have a consensus among ourselves, we discuss, we brainstorm together. There's so many talented youths in Nigeria. We have bank managers at 23 years, 24 years nowadays. We have, look at the entertainment industry. Look at the film industry in Hollywood, the sports. We're doing very well, so why not politics? So I believe it is time for us to really sit down, look at you know, people with open mind, people with the same vision, and then come together and agree. Part of our problem is we refuse to agree among ourselves. You know, we have always been saying the elites can easily sit down and agree on what will benefit them.
Okay.
We have seen it often time and time. You know, during the merger, the last merger, the alliances before, you know, they come together, agree, sit down and agree. Well, I've not seen this kind of you know, solidarity and consensus among the youths in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I think we need to really start as soon as possible.
Okay. Now, start as soon as possible. That takes me to the next question on you, or maybe I'll leave it to the two of you. Now, right now, there are a lot of rejigging, realignment, political parties have been formed, and we don't get to hear about the youths. But suddenly, when all the parties are formed and the stage is set for elections, you find the youths. And somewhere said youths at or during elections are used as consultants, social media battalions, political thugs, etc. When will the youths also say, no, we won't play that role, we want to also contest election, not minding the conditions attached?
You see, the thing is, young people, youths, have a mentality towards politics. And I totally agree with my brother Hamza.
He disagrees with you, but you agree with him.
I know. I want everything to be looked at very objectively here.
Okay.
We have a lot of young people, intellectuals. I mean, people who are admirable, people who are policy makers, people who when they talk about their areas from finance to agriculture to entertainment, they are geniuses. But they have made a certain choice to disdain politics. I happen to also have been a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. I was a member of the Media Directorate, and I'm pretty sure I was the youngest in the entire campaign council. I was 23 then.
Were you very active?
I was very active.
You were not passive?
I was not passive.
Okay.
I was 23 then. And how many young people were sitting there? We're only maybe like 4 people. And when I mean 4, I was the youngest. You're talking of others who were 28, 27, or 26. The rest were 40s and early 30s, I mean mid 30s and late 30s. We have very few young people in politics. People who have the intellectual capacity to run the country. People in their 20s who can actually deliver change, who can handle ministries, who can handle government agencies.
So
where are they? That's the question. Okay. The problem has been the fact that most of these people have chosen to take an intellectual path, and that is not wrong in itself. But we have to be able to understand that no matter how much your intellect is, you don't get into the political terrain, you will always end up being the best you can even be is a minister. The best, when you have gotten that intellectual
sagacity. Because my brother Hamza here is a grassroots man. He is a politician. He understands that. Politics is not in the speech you write. It is when you go down there to sit down with the people. And when you have young people who are avoiding this, who want to first of all build the mansions first, drive the luxurious cars, and stay on their intellectual lane and all of that, they don't eventually get to sit on the table of those who make the policies. So we need a system and a revolution, so to say, that young people see that I can be a banker and also be a member of the APC. I can be a farmer and also be a member of the PDP. I can be a consultant, a business consultant, or a lawyer, and also be a member of COA party, to be able to show that that I'm also being a part of the policy making machinery of the country. So we need to take out that mentality where people see politics as if it's the problem. It is the solution. Politics is the way and manner in which decisions we made that will affect everybody. So we need a revolution of the minds of young people, that we must join politics. We must take an active participation in the decision making, so that when the ladder is moving, if for instance now the president is going to pick out ministers from people who served on his campaign, he's going to look at the crop of people who worked with him. Who are the crop of people? The same elderly people who have always been in the political terrain and the political landscape. But where are the young people? No, they are below. They were the ones they just said, okay, fine, we'll vote, and that's all. We're not going to take part in the political affairs. The selection of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, for instance, now had Ekedo or Dewale, is Barrister Ismail Ahmed, young, very, very smart people. Hamza Baba. No, he was in mobilization. I'm talking of even the particular people who were in the policy drafting. Okay. These were people who were intellectuals, and they're young people. They have made a conscious choice to enter into politics at a young stage, and not just be there and be political tools of just amassing votes, but being intellectual tools. And when, for instance, they are needed to serve, they will be called upon. Barrister Ismail Ahmed is about 36 or 37. He was just appointed the senior special advisor to the assistant to the president on social investment programs. We are saying that there's a change in the climb. So while indeed the constitutional amendment is a good step, it is incoherent. More action. There has to be a consciousness, a revolution among young people that it is time to get into politics, irrespective of their intellectual leanings, irrespective of their professional callings, but to understand that you cannot stay away from the political terrain. Look at the example of Australia, for instance. In Australia, it is compulsory to vote. If you don't vote, then it's a crime. You pay a fine. Agitation is a vision. Yeah. If you agitate and you don't engage the agitation on a mission, will it work? The answer is definitely no. Yeah. Now, youths are agitating from all kinds of ages. We hear you are of the vendors. You hear not too young to rule and whatever. If these agitations are going on, for instance, and like he said, you don't submit yourself. You chicken out when you should speak out. Will the youths ever be there? No, they won't be there. We have to prepare. One very interesting development in the build-up to 2015 election. Let me just share it. During the Buhari support organizations, we brought in professionals. We're able to bring in lawyers for Buhari. He's my comrade lawyer here. We have doctors for Buhari. We have engineers for Buhari. Within the youth bracket? Within the youth bracket. That's what the Buhari support organization achieved. But unfortunately, I have to say something. Immediately after the election, we couldn't actually utilize the potentials in all those people that came on board the campaigns. Before, the talk is doctors don't want to be in politics, lawyers don't want to be in politics, engineers don't want to be in politics. But we're able to bring them on board. Okay. We're able to bring them to be volunteers, to monitor election, to do house-to-house campaign, neighborhood-to-neighborhood campaign. It was a very interesting development. It is unprecedented in the history of Nigeria. Okay. There was those kind of professionals, came and embraced politics. But when election was won, and those people were ignored or they were like abandoned, not actually carried along. We're not talking of appointments, but we're talking of involvement in policy making,
they have a lot of initiatives, lot of ideas.
Okay.
I think that's where one of the areas the APC lost it. Immediately after the election.
So how can they correct it?
Yeah, it can be corrected.
Is it late?
It's not late.
Okay. So how can they correct it?
Yeah, there should be a conscious effort, in engaging all those talents. We have them documented. We have registered over 20 million people, before the election, and they are documented people. So we can actually do it via town hall meetings. That's the first stage, Before the election, we had town hall meetings all over the country. We did it almost in all the 36 states of the federation. So what stops us now to start? We have the youth directorate under the AVC, under PDP. We have youth directorate. We have it, even in BSO we have, and the APC campaign council have a youth wing. So we shouldn't wait for our elders to organize us, and that's the mistake we are making. We have to come together. Johanna of this world, Hamzas of this world, we can come together, build a consensus, agree. There must be, somebody must lead. I think that's one area we are not doing very well.
Okay.
We don't seem to agree.
Okay.
So, but there must be something that will bring us together. That's a vision.
Okay.
And that vision must be spelled out. And there must be a declaration. I would suggest we should have a national kind of a youth dialogue summit where all the youths from different professions, different background, different parties will converge and look at this vision. We should first of all come with a vision, and then we should have a target, and we follow it. It's not too late. We can try 2019, then we can look at 2023, of course.
Okay. Still speaking to agitation without a mission. Somebody has to lead. And if somebody does not lead, we will keep agitating, yet we will not get there. So how can this flag off? Somewhere I read, the youths have been reduced to a democratic majority to a political minority. Very strong.
The pattern in Brexit, young people supported Britain staying in the European Union. The older generation supported no. The young people were more than the older generation. But then, when the votes came, the older generation had more votes than the young people. What happened? Young people did not vote. It evinces a clear picture of young people not being in politics, not staying at home, armchair critics, policy writers in their rooms, bloggers, but not in the implementation room. It takes me to a point that Hamza raised. Young people in the party, lawyers, doctors, surveyors, who came together.
Please, journalists are also there.
Journalists who came together to provide a support for the president, or the then running under the APC, even in the PDP also. But what eventually was the outcome? Like you said, most of them have not been engaged. They've not even appointments or all of that. It tells us one thing, an underlying fact, that except young people get elective positions, they will always remain in the words of that writer there, as political tools. We're not going to really tap the powers that we have in policy making and policy and decision making until we have elective positions. And I say elective positions because a minister, a commissioner, an SA are answerable to somebody who is elected. This man who is elected.
So invariably you're saying they should not restrict themselves to appointive positions.
To appointive positions. And it draws me now to the not too young to run bill.
Yeah.
It has said, let us lower the ages for young people to run. Like I said, a very, very good start, but inchoate. Inchoate in the sense that young people have always had the opportunity to run. 30 has always been there for House of Reps. How many young people have run? It draws us to a question. Why didn't they run? Or what was the stifling conditions that made them not to run? Or why did they fail in their running? Very few of them ran. And it's always come down to the earlier things I said with regards to, you know, the requirements in terms of Nigerians trying to appreciate a person who wants to come out to lead. You come out to lead and you say that you've just finished your NYSC, you're 25, you're 27 now, and they ask you what businesses have you run. You said you have just worked for so. They cut you out. Have you ever held any opposition? No, they cut you out. Have you ever done this? No, they cut you out. Now we need to fix that system in itself, so that young people at every point in time of their careers, and I'll tell you from a personal experience. While I was in the university, I was an editor-in-chief of a magazine. I was a Google ambassador. I had also worked with BlackBerry. So I was already building my CV while I was in school. Even though that would have been, even up till now, is highly unconventional. We need a system where this is conventional. Where a young person who is 21, 19, who is still in the university system can equally apply for certain internships, can equally build his businesses, can build a profile for himself, so that at the end of the day, when he's coming out at 25 into the system, he's ready to be absorbed into elective positions. One.
Not just appointive.
Two, not just appointive positions. Two, we need a system that works on the finances of parties. We can't deceive ourselves. No matter how much interest a young man from Kafanchani, Kaduna State, or from Shomolu, or wherever he is, no matter his intellectual sagacity, no matter his policies, the moment he arrives at the party, let's start with the first stage of the primaries, when it's now time to sit down with the delegates, who as presently constituted, you would have to spend on each delegate at least 200,000 naira. When it gets to that stage, a man who, with so much ambition from the village, with so much intellectual prowess, cannot make it through that point without the financial prowess.
I'll get to that. You talked about finances. We'll get to that. There's a flow you made. Let's sustain that. Now, back to Hamza, because he has a practical experience.
Exactly.
And before I ask you the question, I have a brief here. Former President Shehu Shagari became a federal legislator at 30 and a minister at 35. Late M. Timbu became a minister at 25 and a Nigerian High Commissioner to the UK at 26. Richard Akinjide became a minister at 32. Late Maitama Sule of blessed memory became minister at 29. Audu Ogbe, current Minister of Agriculture, blazed the trail at 35 and is still counting. Now, you had an experience then and you were told you are not yet ripe to be chopped or to present yourself. Do you still have an ambition?
Yeah, of course. I have an ambition.
How do you intend to play it?
You see, I want to be a rallying
given the points he has raised.
Yeah, I like his presentation very well.
So now he has given you that space now.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about youth not getting involved. With the scenario I've painted now, how do you intend to play that if you have an ambition?
Then,
even if I'm not saying to campaign here, how do you intend to go about it? To break through this thick wall of conditions.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, then you mentioned the Audu Obex of this world, the Shehu Shagaris of this world. Then I think there was a deliberate policy of mentoring. Then the atmosphere and the condition was very favorable for them to actually lead then. But now some of those opportunities are not there.
Okay.
Yeah, but as I have mentioned earlier, we shouldn't just sit down and say somebody will have to give us an opportunity. We have to create those opportunities.
Okay, now what I'm asking you is this.
I want to
imagine
a
group of youths come to you from Kano and say, Hamza, we want you to run for presidency, we want you to run for Senate, we want you to run for House of Assembly or governorship, as it were. And they back you up. and you start your campaigns. Midway, like Johannes said, one big week with all the money says, Hamza, let's talk. And it tenders a whooping 100 million. Say, look, stand down this thing. What will you do?
Well, first of all, I have to know where the 100 million come from. You know, we're all children of President Muhammadu Buhari, and ideals and principles, we have to actually sustain it. We did something under the Buhari Support Organization, which I think I should mention it here. We developed what we call a crowdfunding technology, where people
crowdfunding.
Yeah, okay. Crowdfunding, where people donated 100 naira, 200 naira. If you get just 5 million Nigerians to donate 100 naira for you, you have 500 million already. So, the only way we can do it is if the youths are ready and they believe in what we have, the vision, the mission, the objectives, what we want. It's not about the age alone. We shouldn't say we should just be giving the leadership and we should just be giving leadership like that. We have to work for it. We have to develop our vision, and we have to get our people, not only the youths, all Nigerians. We have to get them on board, get them agree to those missions, buy the missions, and then develop a crowdfunding platform where people could actually
crowdfunding.
Yeah, crowdfunding.
That's a good
that's the only way we can do it. Okay. If we can get 100 naira from, I could remember in 2014 while we were selling those BSO cards in Kano and somewhere in Abuja here in Gwarumpa. Even I had one beggar. He was begging, but he bought a card of 100 naira he donated from me, a blind beggar in Gwarumpa.
Okay.
So what made him to do that? It is a belief.
That's why I want to sustain that same question on you now. Given the zeal and drive you have now, and the youths say in Nigeria say run for presidency, the youths in Kano say run for governorship, the youths in your senatorial district say run for senate, the youths in your constituency say run for House of Reps, and you're already on track campaigning, whether for presidency and what have you, and Wojola, who has all the money, comes to you say, look, man, you have to forget about this thing. This is 100 million naira. Will you accept?
No. Okay, it's even now I'm getting you. Okay. No.
Part of the problem from literatures, from symposia, from several fora is that the youth giving easily, yet they make all the noise.
I think that's a problem. And, our elders feel that we can easily be bought, and it's part of the problem. There's that stigma. Either it is a stigma or suspicion that Nigerians youth are very cheap. They can easily be bought.
So are we still cheap?
We are not. We are not. But I believe we have a lot of work to do. A lot of advocacy. We have to talk to ourselves. We have to enlighten ourselves. We have to do a lot of town hall meetings, a lot of engagements, to educate ourselves, to even educate people to know the importance of doing it this time around. We have to do it. And
not being bought over?
No, not at all. We have to, we have to develop that, a kind of a principle of honesty, and that's why we are not being trusted. We can be bought with 10 million naira. Let me tell you something.
The problem remains,
somebody told me, and he's part of this government, that this National Youth Council of Nigeria, the reason why they are always having issues, there has always been a kind of factions in NYCN, is because those people in government will not allow them to speak with one voice. The factions, the divisions actually favors government. So I was like trying to ask him how. He said, you two to your wahala. You have so much wahala. If we allow you to get united, we won't know where we will be. So that's why there's a deliberate kind of attempt to divide the rules. If this is coming from somebody who is part of the government, that he's even happy that we have two factions of National Youth Council. So you can see we have a lot of problems.
Okay.
And you say by the time maybe you just put 5 million naira to these NYCN members, you will be fighting for the next 3-4 years.
Okay.
So while they are actually running themselves smoothly.
Okay.
So what I want to say is we need to really re-identify ourselves, reinvent ourselves. We have the energy, the intellectual prowess, the power of innovation to do it. And you see, even some of this insecurity you're seeing is because of exclusion, total exclusions of youth in the process of governance. So some youth could easily be radicalized, and you know, there were a lot of agitations, the Niger Delta militants, the Boko Haram, all these sort of things will reduce if youths are genuinely, you know, given the opportunity. I'm very happy with this amendment. I think it's a step forward. It will help, and I believe you will see more youths, you know, participating in the governance in the next election.
Okay, I'm happy so far we have agreed with one thing, that greed has been a problem, selfishness has been a problem. We have said that lack of capacity has not been the problem. The capacity is there, but we have not been able to throw in to go into the ring to take up the bull by the horn. And we have also agreed with the fact that there is competition, but the competition is not properly directed. Now, moving on, there's a build-up towards good governance, dropping agitations. Government is talking about the fact that youth should not allow themselves to be used for hate speeches and what. So, what would you say is the way forward?
The way forward
to address this agitation by the youths before we exhaust the whole time.
Let me look at what Asiwaju, our party leader, once said.
And that is, you say our party leader.
Exactly.
You're a member of APC, you're a member of APC, yet you're complaining.
You know, like I said, the problems are institutional.
Okay.
Power is not served a la carte. Nobody's going to hand you power. Leadership is not given, it is taken. The way forward would require young people to stand out. If a certain Johannes comes out and says he wants to run,
let's be democratic, or a certain Hamza.
A certain Hamza says he wants to run, and comes before the party, and a certain Omini offers 100 million to Hamza, and says, Hamza, step down for Johannes.
Okay.
Johannes does not have a CV. Hamza has a CV. You see, politically, even the certain Omini would find it that because of Hamza has stood out, Hamza is already liked by the people. Hamza is already known to have managed resources. He will be making a political mistake to want to push the certain Johannes down to raise a Hamza. What am I saying in essence? We need to, as young people, stand out in our various professions.
Yeah.
We need to not just stay as armchair critics, but come out and put our positions on the table. Come out and contribute to the intellectual discourse of matters of national importance. Come out and speak to other Nigerians, speak to young Nigerians, form hubs of like you said, think tanks to discuss national issues and prefer solutions. Don't always be on the complaining side. Be on the solution side, because people, and I tell you, every person in government, every appointee and every elected person in government is looking for solutions to the problems he's meeting on ground. Be the person that is offering solutions, and then you have the one problem solved. Secondly, like I'm going to go back to it, even though you said I shouldn't. This is a funding issue.
No, we touched it.
We must reform the party systems. We must reform our electoral systems to take away the preponderance of money in our electoral systems.
Okay.
We cannot have a system where before you even run for councillorship, you've spent 10 million naira and you've not shared any idea, because everything boils down to money. If the delegates will be sold on your money, that should not be the issue. Delegates should be sold on, first and foremost, the ideas that you are bringing on the table. We must improve on that.
Thank you. So, what is the way forward?
The way forward
we are wrapping up now.
Yeah, the way forward is to talk to ourselves, continue talking to ourselves, continue the engagement. We have a lot of advocacy to do. We'll reach out all the political parties and inform the youth, not only in APC, but of course we have to look at other political parties that are in PDP, other parties. Let us come together and develop that vision. If it is not existing, we have to have a vision. You can't just say you want to lead when you are empty. We have to know what do you have to offer. So that is in progress. We have already started, contacting other people across divides.
Are you involved in that?
I'm deeply involved.
Okay.
We have the issue of tribalism. The ethnicity issue is something that is a serious problem in Nigeria, and we're looking at that very seriously. We'll continue to talk, engage people across divides. And of course, the issue of a resource. We have to know that politics cannot be achieved without resources, no matter how. You need some logistics. So we have to make some sacrifices among ourselves.
Okay.
We have to develop the crowdfunding, platform where people could donate. Before then, you have to have something to offer. Okay.
Thank you very much. I believe maybe some politicians have stolen this your concept, crowdfunding. And maybe Johannes is attempting to go into politics, he will adopt your concept. Well, I believe even if they give us the next 4 hours, we'll keep opening this discussion, and let's hope that somewhere we'll bring it up again, this place of the youth in the public governance process in Nigeria. Well, on this segment, I've been chatting with Johannes Toby Wojuola, member of the All Progressives Youth Forum, constitutional lawyer, and policy analyst. It was nice having a chat with you.
Always a pleasure.
And also, I've been talking with a health expert in the public health value chain with interest in National Health Insurance Scheme. Member Contact and Mobilization APC Presidential Campaign Council 2015, and currently National Coordinator, Vendors for Positive Change Initiative.
Thank you very much.
Who may be attempting to go into politics very soon.
Thank you very much.
Ibrahim Baba.
Thank you
very
much.
Talking with you.
Thank you very much.
That's about that on this segment of the program.